time travel shouldn't exist in Miraculous Ladybug. I hate time travel in any show unless the show is specifically about time travel. But in a show like Miraculous, time travel is just a cop-out. Oh, the villain won, what are we gonna do? No problem, we can just go back in time and fix it. It adds no element of suspense because you know the heroes have an easy way out of any situation, of any loss. They are practically unbeatable. Marinette's designs are getting worse. I really loved Marinette's hat design in season 1. It truly surprised me. I mean, the feather pattern looks so expensive and well made. Chef's kiss. Then we have this monstrosity.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
How is no one talking about how ugly this is? Sure, the thought behind it is cute, but the design is just bad. The stripes and white embroidered hearts and the color palette, it's all wrong. Everything is wrong. Also, Marinette's designs in Reflect All were just terrible. Maybe the bad animation made it look worse, but these pieces don't go together at all. The green jewelry and the red beret with the black and white striped shirt, it's all mismatched. I can't imagine a worse combo. I literally can't. Then we have one of you guys' unpopular opinions, and this one reads, I want Marinette and Felix to get together. I don't want Marinette and Adrien to be together, and I want Felix to be in many other episodes, and I don't want their secret identities to be revealed. So I'm just gonna tackle the I want Marinette and Felix to get together, and I don't want Marinette and Adrien to be together comment. This is definitely an unpopular opinion. However, I gotta be honest and say, I've considered this too. The most popular ship in Miraculous is Marichette, or Maricat, I don't know how to say it. And that is because Cat Noir is confident. He says what's on his mind and comes with sassy, funny one-liners. Cat Noir has an edge to him that Adrien doesn't have. Adrien is very nice, and sometimes that's really all he is. Just really, really nice. Just nice can get real boring real quick. And spoiler alert, humans that seem like they are just nice typically have a lot they are hiding from everyone else. Perhaps feelings of resentment or envy. But they don't show that. So I'm not saying you nice people out there are boring. I'm just saying that Adrien as a character is boring because they don't peel back the layers more. There's only one layer and nothing underneath. And I know that Cat Noir and Adrien is the same person, but come on, they are like complete different personalities. It's confusing. I'm just gonna pretend like they're two different people. Anyways, shipping Marinette with Felix isn't such a weird thing after all, when you realize how bland and flavorless Adrien is becoming. Because Felix is the opposite of that. He has some spice to him, an edge, goals, and desires, and all of that makes him seem more human than Adrien, even though his actions were pretty unhinged. Also, I want to look into what actually makes a character good and interesting. I did some research, and these are the points that are most common. First up, they need both strengths and flaws. A character with only strengths can easily be cast as a Mary Sue, while a character with too many flaws may end up as irredeemable and annoying to watch. Like, for example, Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Secondly, they need a motivator. The motivator is basically the reason behind the character's actions and behaviors throughout the story. You also need to give them specific quirks that are unique to them. Basically something that makes them stand out from the crowd. And lastly, they need a past/backstory. The backstory is the reason why the character ended up being who they are today. Basically an explanation to why they are the way they are. So does Adrien qualify in all of these points? Let's go through it. Strengths and flaws. Adrien's strengths are he is popular at school, he sees the best in everybody, he's above average in most things like gaming, music, languages, fencing, schoolwork, modeling, even acting, etc. And lastly, he is caring and nice and extremely selfless. For flaws, I would say he is naive and doesn't always understand social cues. And I guess when he falls for somebody, he can come off kind of strong. But to be honest, a lot of these flaws can also be seen as quirks. Here are some examples of common character flaws that I think work better. This is what I mean when I say flaws. Greed, arrogance, stubbornness, you get it. Maybe his naivety could be a better flaw if it were actually consistent. But his naivety is very random. Sometimes he is the voice of reason and makes everyone else look dumb. And other times he is extremely, extremely clueless. So his strengths definitely outweigh his flaws by a lot. Also, Thomas Astruc literally tweeted that Adrien has no flaws, and instead it's the world that is flawed, and he's simply perfect. So yeah, Point proven. Then it's the motivator. Adrien's motivation is being freed from his father's control. But the thing is, why though? A person who wants freedom typically has a reason for wanting that freedom. Here's a few examples. I want freedom so I can explore the world. And I want freedom so I can become an astronaut. Or I want freedom so I can put all my focus into my own personal interests, like maybe art or literature or something. But why does Adrien want freedom? Oh, it's because he wants to hang out with his friends. That's literally it. Adrien has no dream, goal, or aspiration in his life. And it has been proven from Wishmaker, where he said he had no idea what he wanted to do with his life. And fine, this could be an interesting concept too. Wanting freedom so that you can explore and figure out what you really want out of life and what your true dreams and desires are. But this isn't a consistent plot for Adrien. He cares about this in one episode and then doesn't give a shit in the next 20 episodes. His motivation lacks reasoning. It's like a kid saying, I want to sit on that chair because my parents said I couldn't. You want it because you can't have it, but then when you get it, it doesn't matter unless you had a specific reason for wanting to sit on that chair. So for motivation, I'll say Adrien has no idea what he wants. Now for specific quirks and character traits. Season 1 Adrien and Season 5 Adrien are two very different Adriens, okay? Season 1 Adrien was the guy who seemed perfect on the outside, but was actually hiding a more goofy, playful side deep down. And that cocky and snarky attitude would come out once in a while, and especially come out when he was Cat Noir. But Season 5 Adrien has very little quirks. It comes out sometimes, but it's not consistent and noticeable enough. He used to be a spice cake, and now he's just vanilla, basically. I guess for quirks, I'll give him the quirk of falling in love very quickly and being very cheesy one season love, based on Season 5's events. Now for backstory. His backstory is actually compelling. A happy family that was broken from the misuse of magic and greed, and a father who can't overcome his grief and obsession with getting the family back to the way it was. There is probably a lot more bits and pieces I'm missing, but that's basically the core of the backstory. But there's one thing I've always wondered. Who was Adrien before his mother passed? What was their family like? What did he lose when he lost his mother? Why should I feel bad for him? It doesn't seem like he's that affected by the loss of his mother, to be honest. He's practically moved on. The only thing that's affecting him is his father being stuck in the past. I don't know. To me, it's a cool concept, but a bad execution. A backstory is supposed to be the aha moment for the viewers. You see a character act a certain way, and you probably wonder, why are they like that? And then, when there's a flashback and you see their backstory, the pieces come together, and the viewer finally understands the character's actions and behaviors. That has yet to come for Adrien, though. So for backstory, I'll say it's okay. Definitely better than Marinette's, which is just...
I'm Marinette. Just a normal girl.
So now that you see that Adrien is missing a lot of key elements which make a compelling character, you can understand why people would latch onto Felix as a more interesting love interest for Marinette. Personally, I wouldn't have Marinette suddenly go after Felix, because it would be a huge slap in the face after all the love square scenes I have sat through. But if Felix would have been Marinette's love interest from the start, I think that could have been more interesting to watch. Perhaps they can make a spin-off or something? Next unpopular opinion from you guys is Chloe should have stayed Queen Bee. Ladybug is a literal hypocrite, not because of herself, because of Nino and Alia. She permanently gave Alia the miraculous. I honestly agree. The reasoning for Chloe not being allowed to use the Bee Miraculous was literally debunked after Miracle Queen. And yeah, Chloe was the one who caused them to reveal their identities. They didn't do it by being reckless like her. But the facts still stand. Chloe couldn't be Queen Bee, cause it would endanger her and the ones she loved. That was Ladybug's reasoning. Yet she's still allowed Viperion, Rena Rouge, Carapace, Ryuko, Pegasus, and King Monkey to return after their identities were revealed to Shadowmoth. Does she not care about the health and safety of their families? Is that it? Or did Marinette not allow Chloe to have the miraculous because she simply doesn't like Chloe and doesn't want her to have the privilege of being a respected superhero? Cause that's what I think. It's no secret Marinette dislikes Chloe, and it's understandable because Chloe will stop at nothing to make Marinette's life miserable. Heck, if I were Marinette, I would do the same. Let my bully become a superhero? Hell no. I wish Marinette would simply admit it. Admit you're petty. Admit you did it because you don't like her. We would all understand that. Not every choice you make needs a respectable reason behind it. Next we have Miraculous Ladybug would have been better as a young adult show. I too have dabbled into the idea that Miraculous would have worked better as a mature show. I don't mean that as in an NSFW type of adult show, okay? I just mean a show with more brutality. Brutality as in fight scenes with higher stakes, people getting hurt, and perhaps even deaths. Villains with less boundaries and heroes who aren't always perfect. Kinda like My Hero Academia. I'm not a fan of the newer seasons, but the fight scenes are always top tier. The stakes are high. Deku always gets extremely beat up and it's hard to tell who's gonna win or what the heroes will lose in order to win. And that's what a compelling fight scene needs. Uncertainty. Stakes. Also, the emotions of Miraculous's characters could be written way better if it was for more mature audiences. They could dig deeper into the psyche of these teenagers who are carrying such a huge burden on their shoulders, how the trauma of failing and letting everyone down affects them, or the hard choice of having to pick your priorities between real life and superhero life. I know they are definitely covering a lot of these topics in the show, but it never gives me the emotional response I think they want from me. Every time Marinette cries, it's always forced, and I wish it made me care, but it doesn't. And there are so many other scenes like it in the show that is trying so hard to make me feel something. Now, there are many factors that play into a scene giving you an emotional response, but perhaps one of the problems is that the tone of Miraculous is very childish. It's not deep enough, and the emotions the characters are displaying is an oversimplified version because it is made for younger audiences. So yeah, I do kind of agree. Miraculous as a young adult show has a lot of potential. Okay, these are all the unpopular opinions. If you guys have any unpopular opinions, please let me know in the comments. Maybe some of these were popular and not unpopular. Let me know. Anyways, as always, till next time.